Hi loving soul, Remy here. So look, I had a lot of practice with breakups in the 13 years that I was stuck in a toxic relationship mindset. Believe it or not though, there came a time when I had successfully overcome my wounded inner parts and limiting love blocking beliefs to the point where I actually didn't need a partner, even though I truly wanted a loving relationship. And from that place, I found recalibrating after a breakup to be a positive experience, believe it or not, rather than the shocking time of deep sadness and anxiety that I used to go through. If you were there though, no matter how dark, lonely or hopeless it feels, this episode will guide you through your 4 best next steps to take before you do anything else. So let's get to it. Not sure where to even begin when it comes to finding a healthy, loving partner? Maybe a part of you thinks it's easier to just be single and avoid the anxiety and stress of a relationship altogether, but yet another part still dreams of having a gorgeous partner to dance through life with. If you want to attract a loving partner who is aligned with the best version of you and have the confidence to be that best version of you, then the universe has brought us together here now for a reason. Let's unlock your power to attract everything you truly deserve. Hi, I'm Remy, clinical hypnotherapist, NLP practitioner, EFT facilitator, certified life and success coach, and your dedicated love upgrade coach. I went from being a people-pleasing, codependent, anxious serial dater and marrier of the wrong men to being happily married with the warm, loving family and life I always dreamed of. It wasn't luck that got me here though. It was doing important internal work, and I'm here now to share everything I know with you so you can get what you want most too. It's time to update your entire mind, plug in and switch on your spiritual connection and start some real life magic happening. This is your time to put beautiful you first for a change. The outside world can wait, so hush those notifications and let's get down to some important work. Before we start the episode, I hope you don't mind if I share a beautiful review that one of my one-on-one coaching clients left for me this morning. We've been working together for about 3 months now, and I tell you what, watching her go from sort of having these sort of unfounded ideas and beliefs about herself and what was possible for her to being able to get to the core root of this childhood trauma she was holding on to, and then just seeing as her perspective completely shifted and now watching her embody this change is just mind-blowing. It's just such a profound honour working with my beautiful clients. So this is what she said. Remy has provided me with a greater understanding of myself, given me the guidance to be more aligned with my true self. When your family and friends comment on your relaxed and peaceful vibe, when you know that was never you, is a welcome change. With the sessions, I have been given the tools to unlock the suppressed emotions I've been taught to do from a young age, allowing myself to be more at peace with myself, and I no longer tolerate bullshit. Although I've not yet found my dream man, step by step, I am now walking in a direction that I choose, and I'm loving the journey. Can't recommend enough. What a lovely review. Whose day could that not brighten to receive that? And Corinne, I am so happy that you're enjoying your level up, and I look forward to seeing how your next chapters unfold. If you're feeling a little stuck, no matter where you're at on your love journey, and your reality isn't quite reflecting your highest and best wishes for your love life, then I invite you to check out my coaching options at www.herloveupgrade.com/coaching. Okay, let's get back to today's episode. Every time I broke up with a partner, it felt devastating to me. When I was in this toxic cycle of relationships and all I wanted was somebody to love me and to feel whole. And so every time I had a failed relationship, it made me feel like it was another sort of nail in the coffin on my belief of how lovable I was. And it used to tear me apart. I was barely alive in the days after a breakup. And it was this sort of, I think I'd almost go back to being a child, which makes sense because it really wounded this sort of childhood inner part of me who, on some level in my childhood was neglected by my father. I was always trying to win the love of him, and I never could. And as a child, I took that to mean that I was unlovable, and it was something to do with me, that I wasn't quite good enough or lovable enough for him to want me, which is devastating for a child. And we have this part of us that acts in a myriad of ways to that kind of hurt. And for me, I used to attract emotionally unavailable men who pretty much mirrored my dad in a lot of ways. Not every way, because I always promised myself, crazily enough, that I would never be with someone like my dad consciously. But then unconsciously, there were many aspects about the guys that I used to date that were very similar to my father, i.e. their emotional unavailability. And there was a part of me that wanted to win them over, to prove that I was lovable. So not only was my fearful ego tethering me to these kind of men because they felt familiar, and the fearful ego wants to root us to the familiar because if we've been through it before and stayed alive, well, that's a big tick in its box. It doesn't like us going to the unknown because that might mean certain death. And when we live with the fearful ego driving, well, we end up going back into these patterns again. So there's that level. And then the other level is that, as I said, we're trying to sort of redeem our lovability and this awful belief that was instilled in us usually by a parent growing up or one of our primary caregivers growing up. So I went along this way until I got married and split up from my first husband. And then I realized that, oh my God, the one thing I want in life is a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship and a lovely, warm, loving family. So if I really want that, I'm going to have to do something different. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep attracting the same thing again and again. And it was at that point that I woke up and realized that I was attracting men who were like my father, as emotionally unavailable as my dad. And it really scared the crap out of me. So I was flawed. I didn't know what to do, but I somehow had this feeling that there was a way around it. I knew that there were people that did have healthy relationships, and I knew that there was this Pandora's box inside of me to do with my childhood that I just didn't want to open. It felt terrifying to me, this whole piece around my dad. At that stage, I was in my I think I was about 28, and I had never really thought about my dad. I didn't want to have a relationship with him. So he was out my life, and I just kind of hadn't even thought about my childhood or what it all meant to me, or really consciously processed the relationship with my dad, or lack thereof. And do you know what? I used to have dreams about him. I used to have dreams about this kind of huge towering figure in a playground, and it was frightening. And I had it, I'd say about once every 2 weeks, until I was 28, and I just sort of shoved it away. And I knew that that figure was my dad. I just kind of got a sense that it was him. And, well, Jung always says that our unconscious speaks to us through dreams. It's one of its primary channels of communication with us. And so there we go. I should have sat up and listened. But for whatever reason, on my beautiful journey, and we all have a beautiful journey, I didn't sit up and listen until I really felt like I'd hit rock bottom. I thought I'd married a guy who was the opposite of the guy I was dating before that. He wasn't controlling, and he was what I thought was accepting and caring and loving. But it turns out that actually he was emotionally unavailable and just not that bothered at all. When I woke up to that fact, I was on holiday, and with a girlfriend, a beautiful girlfriend who I love dearly. And I didn't want to come home. I had such a good time, and I felt the biggest anxiety attack ever about coming home, because he didn't mean to. He was a good guy, but still his actions and the words that he spoke to me and the way he treated me, it's sort of unconsciously, he was doing the best he could do, and he didn't have bad intentions, right? As most, to be honest with you, even narcissists don't really always consciously have bad intentions. Believe it or not, and this is not going to be a popular opinion, but they're doing the best they can do, but they literally can't control themselves. And he just did not want to go near me with a barge pole, bless him. And it made me feel so crap about myself and who I was. I was a hot 26-year-old at this point, and he just didn't want to go near me. So, and he openly admitted it. And so I was on holiday with a girlfriend, and I was having so much fun, and people were sort of interested in me. I had guys interested in me, and I was talking to girlfriends, like new girlfriends, and the lovely lady that I was away with, and we just had so much fun together. And my ex-husband just did not care. I tell him how I was out partying all night, and the next day I'd ring him up and tell him that I was partying, and then I had sort of like bruises down my leg, and I don't really remember how I got them. And he's like, "Oh, darling, that's wonderful. It sounds like you're having the time of your life and reliving your youth." I'm like, fuck, I'm only like 26. I'm still young. Like, you should actually be a little bit jealous. Any normal person surely would not want their wife to be out partying with a whole bunch of people. We were like on yachts clubbing with gorgeous young guys, and I was very honest with him about what we were doing, and he was just very happy for me. And I thought, oh, do you know what? There's just something not right here. And then the thought of going home to him was so unappealing that I was filled with anxiety, and I actually ended up extending my holiday a bit and really freaking out about my marriage. And I made the decision that when I got home, I was going to finish it with him, because there was something not right. And I knew I just had to kind of rip the Band-Aid off and finish it and be done with it, and then work out what the hell I was going to do with my life after that. So that is what happened for me. And then I began this beautiful journey. And when I got to the other side of lifting this lid on this Pandora's box and doing this extensive, profound work, really what you could call on my inner child, like reparenting myself and going there and realizing how unlovable and how unvaluable I thought I was, and the reason behind my really low standards for myself. Honestly, that is what changed my life. Unbelievable. So I got to the point that I actually used to welcome breakups. Can you believe it? I used to actually look forward to it. So if I met somebody, I was so unattached and so self-assured and so trusting in the abundance of the universe and the law of attraction and the nature of reality that I would definitely meet my match. Because I wanted love and I really wanted a family, I just knew that it was there waiting for me. I just had to be a match for it. And so I really was intent on enjoying my journey and just filling every single one of my cups in life, making sure I was physically fit, that I felt good about the way I looked, that I was enjoying work, that I was challenging my mind and growing myself in every way that I could think of. And I got to this point where I was actually just really enjoying myself. And I used to ask different questions when I went on dates. I used to think, instead of worrying all the time whether he liked me, I would worry in a relationship whether I like them. Am I spending my time wisely? Are you worth my energy? Am I enjoying your stories and your jokes? Are we having good banter? Is this fun for me? And it was such a breath of fresh air. And when I got to this place of really not caring whether or not we broke up, it was because I was unattached and coming at it from a place of abundance rather than from a place of scarcity and need. I wasn't desperate about being with somebody and living vicariously through what seemed like their kind of together, and even if it wasn't that together, but like through their life. It was much easier for me to sort of move my self-image and myself into their life and then latch on to their world and make that my world, rather than focus on my own world and deal with my own shit and my own life. It was really interesting. It was like I had this spotlight that was just peering into their boat, and I just wanted to climb into their boat and abandon my boat. And of course, no relationship can ever survive based on that, because what you end up doing is attracting guys who are willing to put up with that, and you absolutely reek of a lack of self-respect, because they know They know that you are living in their world, and it's that's just not attractive. On some deep unconscious level, it's not attractive to be like that. What our true self wants is, and not to mention you end up attracting narcissists, because these are the people who need to be needed, right? Who need to control someone, and they find that appealing because you're fulfilling a need that they have. But if you're an emotionally resolved person, you really don't want that in your life. You sense it, and we all want people who are sort of sure and confident, and like sort of truly confident. We know when somebody is being desperate or needs us, and it's just so unattractive, isn't it? You can kind of spot it the minute you start talking to someone that they are, it's like a weakness. So when I dropped this need for codependency, when I stopped relying on somebody else for my own joy and to fill me up and make me whole, and when I actually felt complete in myself, well, from that place, whenever I broke up with someone, or they broke up with me, or the relationship just didn't work out or whatever, it was always very drama-free, very amicable. And I sort of realized that, well, actually, if I'm being honest with myself, they weren't really for me on many levels, and probably not up to the standards I really wanted. And I was just excited to kind of do the work, learn from that relationship, look back at all the sort of rich jewels in the relationship as to why I'd attracted that kind of person to me, and what that could tell me about myself and the inner work that I needed to do to level up. And then I would just sort of look forward to the next level up and to the next beautiful experience that the universe had provided me with, or the next experience that came into my life. And from that place, it was, oh my God, it was like a load had been lifted off my shoulders. I was a different person. That whole piece together was just absolutely life-changing. And I tell you what, it wasn't long after that I met my husband now, my forever husband. And I don't think that's any coincidence, because I was really a match for what I wanted. And my husband is exactly what my higher self wants. He is emotionally resolved. He is calm. He is loving. He is level-headed. He's self-reflective. He's fabulous on every level for me. So this is the place we're aiming to get to. This is a pivotal part of a love upgrade, as it were. It's the mindset that you need to attract the true loving relationship that you want, and to really step into your best self and your best life. Now, look, I'm not asking you to fake how you're feeling and to do some sort of bypass on the pain you're going through and try and sort of kid yourself that you're okay, because that doesn't work either. We always have to be really honest with how we're feeling. It's the absolute key to growth. And when I felt better about a breakup, well, I genuinely felt better about a breakup. I wasn't trying to pretend that I was okay. I literally was. And even if you're not in that place yet, even if you are still in a little bit of a toxic, codependent, needy frame of mind after a relationship, that is cool. As I always say, you are supposed to be exactly where you are, and where you are is completely perfect. And you always have a choice about what your next steps are going to be. So, that being said, even if you are in this place where you are in a lot of pain, having freshly broken up with someone, I've got 4 steps to really make it so much easier for you in exactly where you're at. And they are, number 1, to pause. Number 2, to calm your nervous system. Number 3, to focus on yourself. And number 4, to resolve your past relationship and grow and learn from it. So let's take a look into those 4 points. Now, the first one, pause. This was probably what I used to struggle with the most. When I was when I was really hurting after a breakup, I think the number 1 thought that went through my head was, oh shit, what if they meet someone else? I can't pause too long, or go no contact for too long, or, sort of pretend that I'm fine and get out of their life, because they're just going to forget about me and meet someone else. And that is just so freaking devastating. Right? I'm sure we've all been there. It was awful. And then you'd have all these thoughts come. I would have all these thoughts come in my mind of them being super happy with someone who was just way prettier and just way better than me in every single way. And it was, oh my God, hell on earth I used to make for myself. Do you resonate with what I'm saying? I'm sure you do. So the best thing to do is remember that that thought is nonsense, because really the universe is abundant, right? Whichever higher power it is that you choose to believe in, whatever you want to call this power, this loving energy, this incredible creative force that created everything, every world, every planet, every universe, every mountain, every fingerprint, whatever, it's abundant, right? There's not like one leaf on a tree. There's 50,000 leaves in a tree, and they're not just green. They're like every single shade of green imaginable. Okay, you step out the door and you see tens of thousands of blades of grass. Look up at the sky, there's a zillion stars, and it's just, everything is mind-boggling. We can always turn to nature for a wonderful reminder of how abundant the world is. Or just, look at how many people there are in the world. Go into a busy city. There are thousands. And we think we know everything. We think we know everyone. We think in our suburb, like, but in my suburb, everyone knows everyone and there's no new people. And I've known the same people since I was a kid and no one new is going to come into my life and blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit. The world is huge. Don't worry about it. Scarcity is never actually a real thing that you have to worry about. So you can pause, knowing that the universe is going to deliver. This is a beautiful time, not for you to feel like you have dashed your chances of love, you've messed up in some way. No, none of that. This has all been a learning experience. It's an experience. And what you're doing by having them out your life is having a little bit of time to recalibrate and focus on you, because I guarantee you, if the relationship broke up for some reason, it means that you were both unhappy on some level. There was something not quite right, and it's really important you look at that, because you want to have a healthy, loving relationship. You don't want to be stuck in a toxic cycle, and it's a great chance to recalibrate and do what you need to do so that you can come at it from a much better mindset that's going to attract what you really want in your life. So you can pause. And when you pause, you just allow all sorts of wonderful things to happen, because what you're really doing is giving yourself permission to just chill out. And then when you do that, it can feel a little bit scary, because your fearful ego is like, I'm on high alert, right? Which is fine. So what you're going to do next is number 2, calm your nervous system. This is all very natural. It's a natural part of being human to have this panic set in, because you've been triggered, right? If you're coming at a breakup and it's triggering you and making you feel sad, and you've got the mindset that this is a heartbreak for you, you're going to be triggered. And that means that your fight, flight, or freeze is going to be activated. So you're probably going to be in one of those states. You're either going to be feeling pissed off, you're going to be feeling devastated, or you're just going to be absolutely frozen, like a fawn. The other word for it is fawn, like a baby deer in headlights, really, really terrified and just not knowing what to do next, and kind of going through life in this sort of frozen state, which is what I usually default to when I'm in that state. When I'm triggered, I go into freeze. I can't think. I have a shutdown of my system. And what we need to do then is just recognize it, because an amazing part of being human is that we're able to observe the way we're acting. It's conscious awareness, and it's a fucking miracle, really. So we can look at how we're acting. Oh, that's so interesting. I'm feeling angry. Oh, that's so interesting. I am devastated. I'm really sad. Oh, this is so interesting. I'm frozen. I don't know what I feel, and I don't know what to do. I'm just in shock. Right? And so we can notice that about ourselves. And then when we realize that we're in this state, we can take steps to just calm our nervous system and calm our amygdalas that have taken us to this state of fight, flight, or freeze, because we're actually not faced with a tiger. And that's what this primal part of our brain was designed to do, to keep us safe from real life or death circumstances, like being attacked by a tiger, right? And it feels like life or death, but actually it's not. So what we can do is, once we've paused, is we can calm down. And really, just by noticing all these things and going through that mental conscious awareness process is enough to really calm us down. But another great way of doing it is to engage all of our senses, because that kind of unlocks this primal part of our brain, because we sort of switch off our prefrontal cortex when we're in this state, and we need to just sort of flick the switch back on again. And a great way to do that is to, as I said, engage all the senses. So find something lovely to touch and notice the temperature of it. Anything, whatever it is, even a cold wall. I'm stroking my wall right now. And, just notice the temperature. Notice whether it's smooth or a little bit bumpy. Notice if it's hard or soft. Just notice if it's solid. Notice everything you can about it, and just sort of stroke it and really engage how that feels on the skin of your fingers, or whichever part of your body you're feeling it with. Really immerse yourself in the experience. Just notice everything about it. Whether it's chalky, whether it's glossy, whether it's matte. How does it feel? And then we can go in to look at something beautiful. If you can, go to a natural place of beauty, a sort of, ideally if you can, a place of awe, which is actually more common than you think. Looking up at the night sky, or going high on a hilltop and looking out at the view. If you can, go to the top of your house and look at the highest window and just notice maybe things you haven't even seen before, like how beautiful all the trees are around you. And find a field with flowers in it, or have a look at the beautiful sunset, or go and look at a natural waterway that's near you if you can. Anything that's sort of a beautiful view. It could even be looking at do you know what? I was going to say a photo album, but that might be a little bit too emotive. I think we want to go for something that's more in nature. That really it's grounding to look at that sort of thing. So something like that, and really get a nice visual image. Worst comes to worst, you can close your eyes and imagine it, and that works just as well. But not everyone can do that from the get-go. But if you can, fabulous. Go for it. And the other thing you can do is, if you can, literally smell something beautiful. Spray some perfume, get some amazing aromatherapy oils, my favourites. Get a beautiful blend, anything you like, anything you enjoy sniffing. I really enjoy, my kids think I'm insane, but sniffing refrigerated coffee. And just opening that lid and smelling that amazing, rich, chocolatey aroma. I just love it. And it has to be cold. It has to be like cold coffee grinds. Anyway, so anything like that, just engage that and really notice everything about it. Is it a sweet smell? Is it not? Is it deep? What is it? Is it woody? Notice everything you can about it. And then you can go to your taste buds. You know where I'm going with this, right? Put something delicious into your mouth. If you can, the most delectable chocolate you've got, or a delicious apple, or maybe a lovely cup of coffee. Again, we love coffee. And just, really noticing the taste. How does it feel on your tongue? Is it hot? Is it cold? Does it melt? Is it stable? What does it feel like to chew it? If it's something you're chewing, all these things, really notice it, really be mindful. This is all really mindfulness, right? And what have we done? We've done touch, we've done sight, something that's sound, right? The best thing you can do for sound, turn on some music. I mean, it really is one of the most incredible ways to change your state. It's free, it's fabulous, it's the work of art that comes from the heart from somebody. And I really didn't mean that to rhyme. But it is an amazing tool. Sticking on a song that you love. I love Jason Derulo. Sorry, not sorry. I love his music. I think it is the most uplifting music in the world. But, there are lots of other things as well. And I know that most of my friends think I'm insane for loving Jason Derulo. And I actually have to sort of, not put it on in the car when my husband's in the car, because he's like, what is this crap? And I'm like, love me, this is great. Anyway, and or someone like India Ari, she's fabulous. I love her music as well. I Am Light, an amazing song to listen to, although I actually made the mistake of putting it on whilst my dog was being put down, so now every time I hear it I have to sort of coach myself out of missing my dog. Ooh. But anyway, something like that you can do. So all those 5 senses we want to engage. And by the time you've done that, You will be feeling significantly better and your nervous system will have calmed. And then if you really want to go for gold and you're a real high achiever, you can go and do some exercise, because that boosts your endorphins, makes you feel great, makes you look great, your body loves it. It's an absolute win-win-win on every part. Even if you really don't feel like you can do a workout, like anything too hectic, just go for a walk. Get some fresh air, go for a walk. Even if it's something as basic as doing 10 push-ups and some star jumps or some, hold a plank. Ideally something with a bit of movement though. Like do a yoga with Adrienne class on YouTube, or follow along with HasFit. Love Coach Kozak and Coach Claudia. Go and buy the Fit Mum program from Shani and Julius, all my favourites. Ben Bruno, Fabulous Weights program, anything like that. Just go and do it. There's no excuse about not being able to move, because we're just surrounded by so much amazing content. You can go ahead and move along with someone. Just, if you can, get some movement, because that again is going to calm your nervous system and pump you full of endorphins, and you feel great. You're welcome. All right. Now, the third step is to focus on yourself. Now, this is interesting because it sounds really simple, but it's actually really profound, and we don't do it anywhere near enough naturally. I don't think we're brought up knowing to do this. But if you actually sit down for a moment in a good state after doing those first two steps, so you've paused and you've calmed your nervous system and you're sitting down, ideally after some exercise, and you take a deep breath. And then you ask yourself, with your eyes closed ideally, because we see more with our eyes closed than we do with our eyes open sometimes, and just ask yourself, to my deepest, truest self, my inner wisdom, my connection to more than I know, tell me, what do I need? What will restore me right now? And listen to what it says. It might say something like profound rest. You are exhausted, and so you must listen, right? That is the hardest thing to do, is to listen. And if it does say rest and you're like, there's no way I can go to sleep right now, are you kidding me? Well, go get a massage, go get some sort of active relaxation, read a book, do yoga, whatever feels like rest to you, whatever that brings to mind, because rest looks many different ways. It's not necessarily going to have a nap. Sometimes that can be the least relaxing thing to do. Go have your nails done, go have a pedicure, go have a facial, right? Whatever it is, go have a relaxing cup of whatever with a friend. Go and do that. Or it might tell you something else. It might say, I have got work to do and I need help. In which case you need to go and do that, right? And you're taking a great step by listening to this podcast. Go and find the help of a therapist or a coach, somebody who can help you in the ways that you have this instinct, listening to your instinct about what you need. It might tell you something completely different, and that is fine too. Whatever it is that your self tells you that you need, please listen. It's not lying and it's not nonsense. It's coming from a place of you that is more switched on than your conscious mind knows, right? And so the fourth step, once you've done that and you're feeling better and you have paid attention to what your self needs, so your self cup is a little more restored and you're feeling like you have nourished your soul, you'll be feeling pretty good by this point. And so now it's time to resolve your relationship. And what do I mean by this? Well, this is a little bit more of a detailed one, so I'm just going to talk lightly about this now, but really it's something along the lines of extracting the lessons and learnings from the relationship. So really being self-reflective about what it was that drew you to this relationship, what it was that kept you in the relationship. If you can see any resemblance, as I was talking about before, between your partner and a parent you were trying to win the love of, or perhaps if you can see a pattern of the kind of partners that you've been with, if you can kind of zoom out and sort of take their traits and their way of being and their emotional availability, what patterns are you noticing? What's it telling you about yourself? What was it that led you to be with this person? And that really is the most incredible thing that you can do, because from that you really have an idea of where it is you need to grow and maybe what needs to be healed inside of you so that you can let go of these patterns and not let them rule your life anymore. And then if you still find that you're missing certain things about your partner, well, really, you can remember that you don't actually need to, because everything that you loved about your partner, just know that, as I said before, the universe is abundant, and you can just instead visualize your future, knowing that all these wonderful values that you held on so tightly from your partner, that you really treasured about them, maybe not the parts that were sort of filling this need that you have, this broken part inside you that was getting something from that, or was attracted to it, as we said before, from a place of brokenness and fear. But there might be parts about them that you really did enjoy. They might be really good in bed. They might be really good looking. They might be, I don't know, really good at sport, or really driven and you really enjoy hearing about their career. All those kind of wonderful positive points about them. Don't worry about letting them go, because that is all going to come back to you in abundance. That's going to be part of the preference that you have for when you're manifesting and calling in the partner that you really want. This is all part of what these sort of elements that can be plugged into your new standard for yourself that you want to attract in your partner. And it's all good. And it's all coming. And right now you can enjoy focusing on you, and know that when your partner who you truly want, your beautiful match, comes into your life, that's going to be wonderful. And in the meantime, you're just able to enjoy this fabulous journey that you're on, enjoying your own life and filling all your cups and experiencing everything life has to experience, all the things that are out there on offer for you. And it's going to get better and better every day in every way. And you're just going to attract more and more magic falling in your lap. And that will happen. As I always say, the universe is just going to plonk beautiful gifts into your lap. And you're going to notice green lights in certain ways. And when you start following your curiosities and your joys and living from this place of fullness and abundance and giving love because it feels good, and really enjoying your friendships and enjoying challenges and growing yourself in every way. This is the beauty of life. And from this place, when you are so full and you wake up enjoying being you, that is when you're a match for a partner who is a match for you to dance through your highest and best life with. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and it brought you a sense of peace and closer to the love and life you're meant for. And if it did, I'd be so grateful if you would share it with somebody who you think needs to hear it too. Thanks for listening. Sending you so much love in abundance. Until next time. You should be so proud of this courageous, incredible journey you are on. And I'm so happy to be here supporting you to say goodbye to toxic relationships and claim the wonderful life and love you truly deserve. If you have a friend who you think needs to hear today's episode too, why not spread the love and share it with them? Sending you so much love in abundance. Until next time.